time. I've been really committed to this, seeing you every week to talk about your burning fitness questions, your burning nutrition questions, your burning supplement questions. And today, stay tuned because we are going to talk about why your workout routine, if you will, why your workout routine sucks, why your gym routine sucks. In a kinder way, why you're not seeing the progress you think you deserve to make, why your gym routine is ineffective, why you haven't achieved your goals. And it's really quite simple. You see, in the fitness industry, we've been led to believe that there's got to be some hack that you haven't discovered yet. There's no shortage of these charlatans, these alpha con type dudes selling another mastermind, telling you why, what you need to do, how you should be fit, that if you just pay thousands of dollars, you're going to be the man. There's no shortage of supplement companies selling you just garbage. There's no shortage of people with their shortcuts, with their new workout program, their new fantastic workout split, trying to get you on board. And you see, none of those things, honestly, and I'm telling you straight, from a guy that sells a program, from a guy who has endorsed supplement companies, I'm telling you straight that none of that matters that much. Let's be clear on that. So stay tuned. You're not going to want to miss this one. On top of that, we're going to do a Q&A. We're going to get to know each other a little bit. We're going to have a lively chat. It's going to be an absolute blast. Got it? All right. Now I see some people rolling in to join. And introduce yourself. Say hi. Tell me why you're here. Tell me what you want to learn about. Ask your questions. Like I said, I will answer. Also, a couple of housekeeping things before we get to the topic at hand. This is important. Supers. Supers help me make more content more often. Supers are huge for me, all right? So get those supers in. I always say that there's no such thing as a free lunch. And that's the first principle of economics. But it's also the first principle of working out. You're not going to get something for nothing. All right? So you have to understand that. And by the way, it's the first principle of YouTube. Like, these things aren't free. This takes real time. This takes real effort. My videos take real investment, real money for editors, thumbnails, all that stuff. So supers help me continually make good content for you. So just be aware of that. Seb Tez says, yo, brother, I'm getting looked soon. Any advice? What do you mean getting looked soon? I'm not sure I understand the question. You want to clarify? Happy to answer. Jags Domain, hi there. Been going to the gym for a year. Congratulations. That is huge. Started running again. Dropped from 180 to 160. That is absolutely massive progress. And I got to tell you, I love to hear that you're running. A lot of people rip on cardio, right? I don't want to do cardio. But cardio is essential. Cardio is absolutely massive. So good to see you running. And by the way, the most primal form of cardio, the most transferable, functional form of cardio, if you will, it's 100% running. Like, it's the most natural human movement. So Seb Tez, locked up in prison first time. Man, I'm really sorry to hear that. That can't be fun. I can't imagine how I would feel if I was going through that. I've never been in prison. It's an area I try not to offer advice in areas that I just have no business talking about. I honestly don't know. My heart goes up to you, or my heart goes out to you. The only thing I can say is, like, keep in high spirits, man. And I don't know if that's possible with what you're going through, but stay strong. Like, that's really, when anyone's having a tough time, and there's a lot of times I think as human beings we can't relate, right? Like, a friend of mine got cancer. I've never dealt with cancer. I can't relate, but I can empathize. And like I said, just stay strong. I know that sounds easy, but oftentimes in life, people that stay strong, it helps a lot. Now, advice to stay positive. This is going to sound absurd, but there's two things you can do. And this actually relates to almost any area of life. The first is visualization and actual self work, right? Like you got to think your brain is a muscle like the rest of your body. You got to train your brain like you would train your body. We spend all this time working out. We spend all this time doing all these things, but rarely do we focus on mental health and the real self work. That's hard, right? Really hard to look in the mirror and really sit down and do some self work. So I think some visualization, some positive thinking, I think some dedicated practice every single day will help you. Number two, it's all about perspective. You know, my dad used to say that as bad as things are, they can always get worse. And so I always try to think of the bright side. I don't know if there's a bright side to going where you're going. I always try to think of how much worse it could have been. I always try to think of how lucky I am compared to some other people. And so some visualization and maybe a perspective switch. And that helps in a lot of areas of life, not just with what you're going through. All right. So I hope that helps. Again, stay strong. Thinking of you. And hopefully it's not for too long. You know what I mean? Hopefully you can turn a negative experience into a positive experience. And here's actually one with perspective and also visualization. There is no shortage of stories where people have went into prison and got out and completely turned their life around. They've used the experience to better themselves. They've used the experience to write a book, to launch a business, to launch a speaking career. Like there's ways that if you're dedicated and driven and passionate and strong, that you can turn this into some type of advantage, all right, and do something positive with it. AFTAB, any tips for a beginner 17-year-old who practices like a hybrid athlete, cardio and strength training? So as a 17-year-old, man, I love talking about this stuff because I wish I could go back in time and get my hands on a young Bobby Maximus. And if I could go back in time and talk to myself, the thing that I would tell a young me, first and foremost, is to pay attention to recovery. When you're young, the work ethic's there. You have unlimited energy. Like you're working out twice a day, you're crushing it, you're grinding, you're doing all the right things. But oftentimes we skip on nutrition. We fuel ourselves on Pop-Tarts and Bear Claws, right? We skip out on sleep. We skip out on things like massage, things like acupuncture, things like chiropractic. Start paying attention to recovery now. At some point, you're going to be 30. You're going to be 35. You're going to be 40. You're going to be 45. And you're going to wish you took care of yourself better. So again, if I could go back in time, I would prioritize sleep, nutrition, and recovery a lot more. And I wish more people would do that. Like it's a long life. And I'm not trying to be the old guy that's like, when I was a kid, I did it. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying at some point you're going to be 46. And man, those knees, that back, those shoulders, like my hands are rough from just years of fighting. I wish I would have just done more to take care of myself. So that's my advice to you. Seb, you are welcome. I try to be. I mean, honestly, if I sat here and said I am not judgmental at all, that would be a lie. I think everyone to a certain degree is judgmental, is prejudiced, has flaws, things like that. But I really, really do try to have an open mind and be non-judgmental. Now, Neutron, howdy to you as well. Nam Rafni, which martial art would you recommend? I want to help my son. I would go with jiu-jitsu the whole way. I think jiu-jitsu is one of the best martial arts if you're ever in a fight. I think it gives a lot of self-confidence. I think it's safe. You're not taking the head trauma that you take in other sports. And I think there's a lot of really, really good quality kid-friendly programs out there. I have my kids in jiu-jitsu. Neutron says, howdy. I think I addressed that already. Howdy. John, 51 here. I do 20 minutes of cardio 6 times a week when I wake up, and band training 3 times a week. Even at that, I feel tired a lot. I get it, man. 51 is not easy. More sleep, better nutrition, more self-care. Those are the things that fill your buckets so you can go harder. So don't sleep on that. All right. You're right, Seb. Recovery is really, really important. And there we are. My man, Michael Glassmaker with the super. I saw your text roll in today, by the way. I still got to address it. I've not had time today, but I will be sitting down and texting you back real soon, probably when I'm right off this live, Michael. So, yeah, but listen, here's the best thing about you. If I don't hear from you for a couple of days, and you're the type of athlete I absolutely love working with, I know you're putting in the work. Like I can guarantee you yesterday you got some. I can guarantee today you got some. I can guarantee you're dialing in the nutrition, paying attention to your sleep, all the things that I teach. So yeah, no worries here. Nam, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I think there are some forms of Jiu-Jitsu that are great too, but Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in terms of quality, kids program, overall functional, the ability to fight, the ability to deal with bullies, things like that, I think it's top tier. John, thanks, but you read your book too. Thank you. What are your thoughts? I would love to hear it. Feedback open. I'm actually toying with the idea of writing another book, like a Maximus Body for beginners. One of the pieces of feedback I've gotten is some of the workouts are savage. Like people aren't ready for it. So I want to distill it down to the beginner level. All right. I'll keep answering questions, but why does your program suck? And I said that, it's a little clickbait. I'm not going to lie. I want you to click on the thing, but why is your program ineffective? And it's a new way to say what I've been telling you the last 100 lives that I've done. I don't even know if I've done 100 lives. That might be a little bit of an exaggeration, but for the people that are watching, Michael, you know the answer to this. What is the secret? For anyone else who is watching this, what is the secret? People that know what I preach all the time. What's the secret hack that you're looking for? What's the secret sauce? It ain't supplements. It ain't garbage. It ain't hacks, gimmicks. What is, and it's one word, and you know what it is if you've watched me. So get those comments rolling in. Seb, I agree. Jiu-Jitsu is probably the best for controlling the situation without hurting anybody, and that's what you want to do. Like, I get it. You want to knock people out. You want to hurt people. You don't. Like, it brings nothing but trouble. If I never got in a fight in the street again, I would be thrilled. Right? If you can control people, always better. BMX Trickmaster, hitting the weights right now. Your bench method is working good. I'm 43. And chest, I growing, lifting 270 pounds. 1 rep max. Awesome. Love to hear it. That is progress. I think you said your chest is growing. You got a 270-pound bench press at 43 years old. There's nothing wrong with that at all. Just protect those shoulders. It's a long road. Sir, literally you earned my respect by giving me the best advice. Even though at my age, sometimes I feel unusual pain, soreness, and stiffness and other problems. Recovery is key. We all go through that, all right? Keep on your recovery. Tips for how to keep consistency in the gym, even though I have a busy schedule. I'm 18. All right. This is a good one. And I will get to why your program sucks in a minute. But tips to stay consistent. One of the things we have a problem with as society is we think that if we can't do what's optimal, if we don't have time for that 2-hour workout, that we're just going to do nothing. We seem to live in this all or none mentality. If I'm going to rest at home on a Sunday, not only am I going to rest, I'm going to eat like trash all day. And it doesn't need to be like that. A 20-minute workout can be insanely effective in your program if you're willing to be intense. And on the days you have longer to train, you train longer. So you're busy. You have a busy schedule. What if on that day that you're really busy, all you did was 100 push-ups? That's it. Now, bear with me. 100 push-ups might not seem like much. Maybe you don't do 100 at once. Maybe you do 100 on the hour, every hour for a day, and you get 100 in. Do you know that 100 push-ups a day for an entire year, 365 days, is 36,500 reps? That's insane. Have you done that many push-ups in your life? And I can't pronounce your name because I don't speak Greek. I apologize. I wish I did, actually. I wish I knew a bunch of different languages. But my point is That's a day that you turned a zero into a W, right? A day that would have been nothing, but you got some work done. And I'm always telling people, no 0 days. Just do something. So even on those days, if you can get 20 minutes in, it's going to work. There's actually a workout from my book Maximus Body that I love. It's called 220. And it's 10 push-ups, 10 squats, 10 sit-ups, every minute on the minute for 20 minutes. You get 200 reps of each. And that is like a 20-minute workout that, listen, I'm not going to tell you it's the greatest thing in the world. I'm not going to tell you you're going to be on stage at the Mr. Olympia or you're going to be an NFL quarterback with that workout. But it's an incredible amount of work. And if all you did was get that in, you would be way ahead. So just get something in. Matt, I'm 58 years old, been training all my life, just had AFib, just can't do what I used to. Any suggestions on training given this latest health issue? I would say stay active and don't push it. Walking is an incredible form of cardio. You don't have to do hard sprints. Walking actually has a ton of health benefits. If you walk and then just do some weights and you don't have to push yourself overly hard, if you can just stay consistent, I think you can still make some tremendous gains, honestly. Like, people think you need to go crazy hard all the time, and I just don't think that's true. Consistency wins, all right? What if you ran 10 miles a day? That's 36,500 miles in 1 year. That's a massive amount of miles. But I actually think your math is a little wrong. It's 3,650. But point taken, man. That is massive. What do you think about Mike Mentzer's view on lifting weights and how long he says to take off? So a couple things with the Mentzer thing. First of all, I'm not 100% familiar with it, but the way people disseminate it is like, oh, you only got to work out like 4 days a week for 30 minutes. That's just not true. You think that's how Tom Brady became one of the best quarterbacks ever? The best quarterback ever? You think that's how Michael Jordan got good at basketball? You think that's how LeBron got good at basketball? You think that's how Michael Phelps won his gold medal in the Olympics? You know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't work like that. Like, everyone's trying to sell you on less for more. Now, there is a thing in working out called intensity, all right? With intensity, you can go less if you're willing to work really, really hard. But one of the things that I think a lot of the Mike Mentzer proponents, like the followers, they fail to understand is how intense an intense workout is. Like, if Mike Mentzer worked out for 35 minutes, I don't think they understand how hard that guy is training. Like, it's insane. So yeah, do less, but you got to go hard. You got to put the pedal to the metal. I do this workout called the Holy Trinity. It's push-ups, pull-ups, and dips, all right? And if you do this for 20 minutes and you do 100 reps of each, you can get an incredible workout. But if you can only do like 5 pull-ups and 10 dips and like 20 push-ups, it's not intensity. And Ace, a couple of things for you. Why ask me? I don't look like I even work out. I mean, go to my social. You don't believe that, but that's great. Number 2, I look like an average 7-year-old. I promise you there's no 7-year-olds on the planet apart from Robbie Robinson that look like me. So you just really disqualified your opinion. And then number 3, you think Dorian Yates's progress, you think he was like a 6-time, 5-time, 7-time Mr. Olympia because he followed Mike Mentzer's program? You think that's what that was? Really? Like, this is the kind of person, you're the kind of person in the fitness industry. Just because of that, it wasn't the gear, it wasn't the help, it wasn't the assistance. Like, get out of here. And here's what I actually find amusing with the world today, right? There are so many people, and Ace, I'm actually done with you, but not really, because this message is for people like you. All right. We live in a world where you have some of the free best information at your fingertips. We live in a world where people give their time to go live to help other people. We live in a world where people put a lot of hard work into making content. We live in a world where there are so many ways to interact with positive, like-minded people. And there's a group of people out there. Most of them lurk on Reddit behind a fake profile. In fact, I'd almost guarantee that Ace isn't even your real name. You don't have a real profile picture up. There's probably no personal identifiers on your profile. We live in a day and age where you could be doing something positive with your life. You seem to think you know everything about working out. You could be studying for your CSCS, for your NASM certification. You could be reading books. You could be listening and try to learn. I try to learn from everybody I come in contact with. You could be doing something positive for one of your neighbors, and instead, you're just being a negative troll. Like, think about what that says. Secondly, I never discounted Mentor. I first of all qualified my statement by saying I don't know a lot about his philosophy, but I know a lot about what the people talk about in regards to Mike Mentzer. And where they miss the boat is they really think that super short sessions, the way it's been disseminated, is I only have to work out 30 minutes 3 to 4 times a week. A, that's not what he did his entire career. B, a lot of these people are not on gear. So I don't know how much the program changes. Like here's a good example, real talk. I am fortunate enough to run my own business and get to work from home. I am fortunate enough to be able to afford protein powder, to be able to afford creatine, to be able to afford glutamine, things like that. I am fortunate enough to have a sauna in my house, to have a cold plunge, to have Normatec recovery boots. If you're a dad and you work 50 hours a week and you don't have a sauna and you don't have an ice bath and you don't have the budget to get protein powder or creatine and you don't have the budget for high grade meat, I don't know if you can do what I do. I've also trained for 31 years. If your first day, you're 52 years old, and you work 60 hours a week, and it's your first day off the couch, I don't know if my program's for you. In fact, I will tell you my program's not for you. It's why the programs I write for people custom are different than what I would give myself. Let's be clear on that. So, you can say I'm discounting Mentzer, but A, I doubt he followed that whole program his entire career. And what about the gear he's on? Does that not matter? Like, am I going to see the same result if I just do that? I got doubts. I'm just saying. And the way it's disseminated, here's the other thing. I'll give this to the guy. He clearly, gear aside, works hard. Do you think you're capable? So the beginner starts, and it's like, I'm following the Mike Mentzer program. Do you think that beginner is capable of harnessing that type of intensity to make that program work? Like, again, to my pull-ups, push-ups, and dips example, if you can do 1,000,000 reps in 20 minutes, like, yeah, it's going to work. But if you're a beginner, I don't know if that's the right thing for you. So let's just be clear what we're talking about. But again, you got to be pejorative. You got to be negative. You got to be unkind. Instead of trying to learn or listen, it's like, God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason in that proportion. I would use them in that proportion. Most of the time I have 1 to 2 hours a day to work out, but I'm just too tired or sometimes lazy because of the other activities I had in the day. My name's Andrew. Andrew, here's the deal. You don't have to go hard every day. Show up. I get that you're tired. I get that you're busy. I get that you have other activities. But an hour of walking, do you know if you walked 5 kilometers a day, and that's about an hour, slow, you would accumulate 42.7 marathons. The marathon was invented in Greece, by the way, but do you know you would accumulate 42.7 marathons a year? That's incredible. So just show up. On the days you feel good, go hard. On the days you don't, go for a walk. I promise you it'll all work out in the end. Tuck, you make me laugh. I don't know if you're wrong on that. BMX Trickmaster, thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. Adrian Tristan, how are you? You are most welcome. Ace, if you have 10 sets remaining, you're not going to give it all. You will not put in the intensity. I'm not sure what you're saying by that. Tuck carved a niche, sold bogus info to support his meth habit. I think I addressed that. Seb, I'm away. I just want to say thank you for the advice. I'm not sure if you're religious, but I want to say God bless you. You're a good man. Thank you very much. Good evening, Bobby. Good evening, XA Eubanks. Good to see you again. Tuck T, I'll check that out. That'll be like an activity for me tonight. That will be fun. Old Natty, I'm here to support or call out. South Valley Vado, I'm on acid and your TV is too loud. I don't know what you mean. Again, trolls. Like, is that supposed to be funny? Here's what I don't get. Again, in a world where you could be better in yourself, you could be really enjoying your time, you could be immersed in a TV show you love. And this is what you're doing? I mean, okay. You know, Titus, I was walk about 5 miles per day. Feeling pretty good. I bet you do feel good off that. Walking is like the best medicine. Smash the like button. Yes, smash that like button for Bobby Maximus. Let's go. Let's get the algorithm pumping. Get all the people out here in the chat. Going to walk, hit my push-ups and chins. Thank you, Matt. And get some, by the way. Jags Domain, if you have to stay away from the gym for a week, like a full 7 days, how much lower weight should you go or lower reps? Or what type of intensity should you go to get back into it? I say like ease yourself back into it. Like one of the mistakes we make is we all go 0 to 100 and we forget the long-term goals. Like the real long-term goal is, and this is funny, South Valley, I'll address you in a minute. But like one of the things we forget, the long-term goal should be consistency. So do whatever you can to be consistent. All right. South Valley Votto. Yes, I'm at work. I feel bad for your employer. Genuinely. If you're on acid at work watching TV, like really, dude? Old Natty, running doesn't necessarily equal cardio and can lead to problems. More investigation needs to occur. I don't know. I'm 50-50 on that, to be honest with you. I don't think running always leads to problems. I mean, sure, people have bad knees, people have a bad back, people have, there's things like that can occur. So yeah, sure, some people shouldn't run. I think cardio to a degree is movement specific. Like if you're trying to be a world-class swimmer, you got to swim. If you're trying to be a world-class cyclist, you got to cycle, probably not run. But overall, running probably is the most functional version of cardio. All right. John, if I only eat one meal a day, is it okay to do morning workouts? So no food all day until dinner or after a workout? Here's the deal. In general, you're probably fine, right? Like the consistency of working out, eating clean food, getting enough calories in, sleeping enough, that's probably going to get you 95% of the way. So to get that last 5%, sure, nutrient timing is going to matter. But for the most part, I think you're good as long as you're following those other principles. If you're working out 7 days a week, what would you recommend? I think there are a lot of different splits. In terms of the splits you could use, Eubanks. One of my favorites is upper body push on Monday. Upper body, and this is what I recommend to people on my ladder app. Upper body push on Monday. Upper body pull on Tuesday. Legs on Wednesday. Shoulder rehab stuff on Thursday. A full body weight conditioning type thing on Friday. Saturday, you could have some fun. You could do some arms and some abs and stuff like that. And then Sunday, you could do some low-grade cardio. That would be a decent split. Another one is weights on Monday, cardio Tuesday. Weights on Wednesday, cardio Thursday. Like just alternate it. That way recovery is built in. Some people will do upper body Monday, lower body Tuesday, cardio Wednesday, upper body Thursday, lower body Friday, Saturday cardio again. So those three, I mean, they will all work. So just, some ideas for you. Old Natty, the most primal form of cardio is walking. Sure, man. You know what? I am still waiting to see a picture of you and see some actual genuine fitness stats. You always got a lot to say. You're always in disagreement. You're always, you have something pejorative or unkind or sarcastic to say. I want to know the credentials. College degree, university degree, certifications, how you look, that matters. What you've done, what you've accomplished. Have you fought in the UFC? Have you played a professional sport? Have you been in the Olympics? Were you a high-level athlete? Like, just give me something. Your wrestling record from when you were 15 years old. And there's nothing. Again, it's like a not a real name, not a real identifier, hiding behind a fake social media profile. So much more credibility when you're just completely 100% transparent. Like if your real name, I don't know what it is, if it was like Richard Walker, and it said Richard Walker, and he had a little picture. You know what would solve social media? I wish you had to upload like a driver's license, and you just had to be who you were. I'd love it. If you had to have a real name and a real identifier, maybe your address, so people knew what you were doing, right? Adrian, because of you, I went from 235 to 190 with abs. That is absolutely massive, Adrian. That is absolutely massive, especially into 2 to 3 months. I don't know you, but for what it's worth, I am proud of you. That is massive progress. You're also the type of person I love working with. I do a one-on-one program with people. I write custom programming. I mentor them. If that's something you're interested in, shoot me a DM right now. I'll check after the live is over, the DM on the IG, if you will. But yeah, if you're interested in something like that, you can apply to the program. I'd love to work with somebody like you because that's incredible. You're the dedicated kind of dude that I love working with. BMX Trickmaster, I started using C4 Sport Ripped. It has me pumped, itchy too. Pre-workout, there's no better pre-workout than coffee, but I get why you love pre-workout because I take it myself. Elliptical is the best cardio, less damage. I don't know about that. I think cardio is movement specific. If you want to swim, swim. You want to be better at biking, bike. You want to be better at running, run. I think there is movement specific. David, for me. Bonjour à toi, ami. Tu vas bien? Oui. Je vais bien. Je suis le plus fort homme que tout le monde. That is not true. It's probably Eddie Hall or Hafler Bjornsson, I guess now, but All right. Do you try to stay in a calorie deficit? I'm kind of at maintenance right now, but yeah, if I'm trying to lose weight, and for a lot of people, stay in calorie deficit. Tuck T, that's where I put my program up. It's available on iOS. It's my program designed for people that are beginner to intermediate level to get them to elite levels of fitness. So yes, it's where my programs are. Eubanks, no problem. Looks matter if you're Johnny Sins. I'll take that as a compliment all day. Tuck T, thanks for the positivity. You're the type of person I like around here. Any way to estimate body fat percentage with measuring waist circumference and height? I don't think so, especially when you look at stuff like that, because BMI and all the different things, it's really hard to tell. The gold standard for body fat is DEXA. But if you have visible abs, you're probably lean enough. So the mirror can work too. All right. We've done a lot of questions. It's been a lively conversation, but I promised y'all some information. Adrian, I'm going to address you. I'm 5'8", and some people say I'm too heavy at 190. I feel great and can run a 640 mile, but I'm working on it. I do long distance and sprints throughout my week. Any thoughts? Honestly, I try to come down and weight even more. So Adrian, just as an example, look up Jason Statham. You know who he is. He's in the Meg. He's in the Transporter. 5'11", 170. And the guy looks incredible. I think at 5'8", if you could get to like 170 shredded, you would be insanely fast, insanely strong. Listen, I've done a lot of work with various military groups. JTF in Canada, I've worked with some SEALs. This is a cool one, Asymmetric Warfare Group. Worked with Delta. I've also done a lot of work with Rangers. All right? RLTW. Anyway, here's the deal. A lot of the Rangers are between 5'8", 5'11", and around 175 pounds, and are completely capable in every way of carrying their weight and be strong enough. So I would still try to come down in weight, and I would tune to a more functional idea of fitness, especially to be a police officer. And I actually was a cop in Toronto for 6 years. So I might really be able to help you. So get in the IG DMs and let's talk. Ace, good to see you again. And again, still negative. Congratulations. Everything I said, that whole little soliloquy, and I doubt you know what that means, right out the window. John, at my age, 51, still think it's better to lift heavy or do lighter for more reps. I went from dumbbells to bands due to shoulder getting hurt with free weights. You know, I go back and forth on this. I think you can still lift heavy in a safe way. I don't think you need to max out completely. I think heavy is a relative term. Like, I think sometimes there is some benefit to doing 70% of your 1 rep max, but I don't think you need to max out completely. And I think if you could do it in a safe way and not have an ego and not go heavy all the time, I think heavy lifting can be beneficial. But again, heavy is a relative term. I also think that some dumbbells instead of barbell work, going heavier with that, can be better for you, especially for your shoulders. I do know that at 51 years old, regardless of whatever you decide to do, you do need more structural work, more accessories, and more work on recovery. Super important. So, all right. Eubanks, my Ranger days at 25 years old, I was 175 at 6'2". Like, a lot of people think that would be too skinny, but I bet you were strong enough to carry a 70-pound pack to do a 10K offset with 10,000 feet of elevation gain. You know what I mean? Like, real functional fitness. Trust me, light is right. After 9/11, the whole fitness thing in the military changed. Before, it was bigger is better. It's not like that when you're moving around in the mountains. Like, light is right. Be able to carry your engine, power to weight ratio is everything. All right, so we've actually like danced around this the whole show. This is why your program doesn't work. This is why your split sucks. This is why you're not seeing the progress you think you deserve to make. Consistency. That's the secret. That's the comment. A couple people danced around it, but that's the real secret. You need to be more consistent. That's the secret that everybody misses. So a little math lesson to close the show. 1 out of 7 days, if you show up, you showed up 14% of the time. Do you think that's a good grade? If your partner rated you at 14%, not good. If you made a movie, it got 14% on Rotten Tomatoes, not good. If your restaurant got 14 out of 100 on a rating, not good. If you got 14% on a test or certification, not good. All right? Not good at all. 2 out of 7 days, 28%. Still not good. 3 out of 7 days, 42%. So here's my thing. If you're showing up only 3 days a week, I don't care what program you're doing. I don't care what secrets you know. I don't care how hard you go during that, whatever. If you're literally only showing up for yourself 42% of the time, you're not going to make progress. Like, it doesn't work that way. And everyone points to the program. Everyone points to the split. Everyone says, I need a special pre-workout. I need a special creatine. I need a special. You're literally showing up 42% of the time. Like, how can that possibly be effective? Now, some people may counter that and say, hey, I'm a powerlifter. I only train hard 3 to 4 days a week, and I'm not showing up a percentage of whatever. But there are other ways to show up. Massage, chiropractic, sleep, diet. There are other ways to show up. So if literally you're only showing up for yourself 3 days a week and the rest of the days you're doing nothing, you get your hand down your pants, you're eating Doritos, you're drinking soda, like, your program's not going to be effective. That's just a fact. Even at 4 days a week, 57% of the time you're showing up. That's still terrible. 5 days a week, 71%, you're failing most certifications. That's why your program's trash. That's why your program sucks. Like that's the reality. You need to show up for yourself more. And again, it's not about working out hard every day. That's the big misconception. How about eating? How about sleep? How about recovery? How about self-care? How about visualization? How about learning? Like there's a lot there. Just to be clear, even 6 days a week, the people that show up hard Monday to Saturday and do everything right, and then Saturday or Sunday, throw themselves in a gutter because there's something about Sunday being the Lord's Day, and what you do is you watch football all day with a hand down your pants and eat Doritos, and that somehow ticket to heaven or whatever. But you treat yourself like an amusement park all day, and you think that like your 6 days a week is enough. Like you probably did so much damage on Sunday that you threw away the rest of your week. So like you want to be better, man. You got to be firing on all cylinders. And again, I don't care what kind of program you're on. If you're not consistent, not going to work. Old Natty. The only thing holding me back at 64 is not taking care of my joints if I was younger. You still didn't address the question I asked you. And this is what you always dodge. You know what's funny? You might be a really smart guy. You might have a lot to offer, but it's really hard to listen to somebody that will not identify themselves, that has no pictures, that doesn't post any credentials, that tries to just be anonymous AF. Really hard. A lot more credibility if you just let your identity fly. That's it. Just show it loud and proud. You know what I mean? It's like when these people, you know who they are, go on marches with masks over their faces. You're scared to speak your true beliefs to the world. Like, I don't have to agree with you, but at least I would respect you, or at least I would try to see your side, or at least I would, I don't even know what the word is. At least I would like applaud you for having some type of courage, for standing behind your convictions, like whatever you believe in and whoever you are. But when you hide behind anonymous profiles, when the only way you feel safe to speak your mind is with a mask, you can't possibly believe the nonsense that's coming out of your mouth. That's the reality. Rusty Shackelford, another one. Sure, I'm sure the CIA is looking for you. I'm sure you're a spy. What's your real name, Rusty? Jason Bourne? Like, this is exactly what I am talking about. And Jags, it is true. Like, again, like if you have to cover up your identity to speak your mind, you can't possibly believe it. Like, you instantly lose validity. It's like, it's really hard to argue that. Like, if the only way you can speak your mind is getting on a Reddit forum with a fake name, really? Like, I'm going to listen to you and respect your opinion? Think of like Marvel fans, right? It's really funny. Or my favorite, Lord of the Rings fans. Or Game of Thrones. Here's the best one I've ever read. So you don't agree with the casting in the Game of Thrones. That's not consistent with life in medieval Europe. You know what else is not consistent with the life in medieval Europe for Game of Thrones? Ice wizards, necromancers, dragons, ice dragons. Like, really? And you're the one that's going to go on a Reddit profile with an anonymous name, Basement Dweller 69. I would not have casted that person for the lead of House Targaryen. It's not consistent with this. Really? But dragons and all the other things. You understand what I mean? Now, I would respect it if, like, a good filmmaker Maybe Quentin Tarantino from his own, a guy who's made a lot of movies from his own account, went online and went to criticize the casting of a movie. That might make sense to me and I might listen. But the minute it's anonymous, you're done. It's like the Marble King Constantine. Is that your real name, Constantine? Like another guy that's got nothing. And by the way, here's the other part. I promise you, these people are not brave enough to say this stuff to your face. They never are. Real safe from a basement, real safe from behind the safety of a computer screen, real safe with an anonymous name again, but you ain't going to talk like that with identifiers. So nothing you say really, really matters. You know what I mean? Look at these people. So here we go. And I just gotta, because that language there is done. You are being put in user timeout. We're going to put you for 24 hours. We're also going to, let me see, hide user on this channel. You are done. Finished. Hidden, and everything you wrote is hidden because I do not tolerate that kind of language at all on this show. It's just hate-fueled nonsense. That's where you cross the line. And Marble King, you're like just a troll. I'm going to put you in timeout too. I will block people. I just don't care. If you are going to talk like that from behind an anonymous profile, I will block you immediately. Goodbye. So that's that. All right, so back to your workout program because we got hijacked by all the trolls. But I think it's actually a really good learning lesson. So before I get to that, it really is a good learning lesson for us all. A, just be kind. B, don't hide behind an anonymous profile. C, I don't even know what I was going to say. Just be kind. Old Natty, often what people think is judgmental is someone who's been there trying to help. Well, there's a way to talk to people. Calling names isn't it. Being super judgmental isn't it. And trying to justify being judgmental, it doesn't fly. Again, you can be kind, and again, you don't have to do it from an anonymous profile. The minute it's from an anonymous profile, it doesn't count. Right? Thank you, Bobby, for that. You are welcome. Adrian Tristan, I realize that it's one's fault and it's only up to me to fix it. I realized this when I was 289 last year, 22. Awesome job. I'm proud of you. Chris Reed, I just joined in. Already these clowns have started. I don't understand why these people want to act immature. If you don't like the content, don't join. That's right, Chris. Go read a book. Go study. Do something real and legitimate. Joseph Grant, hello. 43 years old. Young. Ready to get some. So again, what I was saying, and I completely lost track. Be kind. Be transparent. Be vulnerable. And if you have an opinion, not everybody has to agree, but don't do it from an anonymous profile. Try to contribute positively to every situation you're in. Like when you walk in a room, you're in a room full of people in real life. Try to just leave that room better than how you found it. Be nice to somebody. Like whatever happened to that? Just go out of your way to be nice to somebody. That's it. And it goes back to the TV show. That casting for Game of Thrones was not realistic. That was garbage. You know what I say to people all the time? Why don't you write a script then? Where's your show? If you're such an expert, Basement Dweller 69 or whatever your thing is, what have you done? Why don't you do it yourself? Great, you hated the Marvel movie. The script was bad. The writing was terrible. Write your own script. Send it to Kevin Feige. See how it goes. Easy. You can actually do that now, by the way. You can write a script and you can get it into the hands of the right people. That's it. Easy. So, To wrap up today's live, because I got kids, I got to do some stuff. We're going to probably play some Legend of Zelda, The Breath of the Wild tonight and do some Magic the Gathering. The reason your workout program sucks is you're not consistent. Like, I got to be clear on that and do the math. How many days a week do you show up? So if you show up 4 days a week, divide 4 by 7. That's how many days you show up. It's 57%. Do you think that cuts it? 5 days a week, 71%. Do you think that cuts it? Like, the problem is you're not consistent. That's why it sucks. A little clickbaity, sure, but that's why it's ineffective. Fix your consistency first, and you will win. John Adrian, thank you for the super, and great to see you again. Thank you very much for that. Really, really appreciate it, and I appreciate the support. DOC, is it okay to bench heavy, then later in the day bench like 50 pounds? Does that help or hurt? I'm not sure 100% what you're asking, to be honest. Like, is it okay to bench heavy? Sure. If you have okay shoulders, if you're not benching heavy too often, if you do some restorative work on the shoulders, like, yes, I guess. Is it okay to lift heavy later in the day? Sure. I don't know if it matters in terms of long-term health, whether you lift early in the day or late in the day. But anyhow, this has been a tremendous live. A lot of good question and answers. A lot of good life lessons for people. Just be kind. So I'm going to leave you with this. Number 1, be consistent. All right? That's the biggest thing. Help me. One arm lat pull downs, feeling in biceps, not lats. Try a different handle. Sometimes it's just in the apparatus you're doing it with. That can help unlock the mind to muscle connection in the lats. I have an anchor I use at the gym. I absolutely love it. I like it better than the handles. I can isolate the lats more, so try that. I like doing this endurance chest with 100 reps incline bench, 100 reps on flies and chest press and some biceps. Sounds like some good volume to me. Does it burn? Is your chest growing? Does it work? That's the big question. Different things work for different people. I'm willing to admit that. Paul Purvis, just logged on, 66, crushing it 6 days a week. Holy Trinity, you are on board. And honestly, at 66 years old, showing up for yourself 6 days a week, love to hear it. Do me a favor on that 7th day. Still show up for yourself. It doesn't have to be weights, but eat some nutrient-dense, rich food. Get some extra sleep. Do some visualization. Go for a walk. Trust me, 52 extra days of the year, even if it's just something so small, can pay massive, massive dividends. So the secret that you're looking for, John Adrian, consistency doesn't always mean perfection. Damn straight. This man gets it. Get him an award, gold star. So here's the deal. Consistency. That's why your program is flawed. All the questions you have. Maybe it's my workout split. Maybe it's a workout program. Maybe I need a supplement. Maybe I need a fix your consistency for 6 months first. Then see if you still have those questions. And I promise you, you will not. Joseph Grant, a park is great. Go for a walk. Love to hear it. And a final note, because we had to address the trolls tonight. Do me a favor. Tomorrow, go out of your way to do something kind for somebody. Do something kind for somebody. That's it. Do something kind for somebody. Approach somebody and compliment them. Say something nice in somebody's post. Wow, it looks like you put a lot of work into that. Say something nice to one of your friends. Call somebody out on a good behavior. Help somebody. If every single person in the world did that tomorrow, do you know all the world's problems would be solved overnight? If every single person on this planet just went out of their way to do something nice for somebody, it'd be insane. I got old Natty. Like, this is how I know you're just a troll. If you're thinking about martial arts, it basically boils down to what's your goal. If your goal is real world self-defense, BJJ is the worst choice. You know what I would love to see, old Natty? And I'll pick another old guy. I would love to see a fight between you and all your credentials and all your street fighting knowledge and all your self-defense, and I'll actually let you pick from one of three opponents: Roger Gracie, Tom DeBlass, or Gordon Ryan. I'll give you Craig Jones too. I'll give you four choices: Craig Jones, Gordon Ryan, Tom DeBlass, Roger Gracie. And here, we'll put a caveat on it. You're allowed to punch and kick. All they're allowed to do is use their jiu-jitsu. Who here thinks that old Natty's going 4-0 in that? Come on. Really? I guarantee, old Natty, if you're allowed to throw punches and kicks, Craig Jones, Gordon Ryan, Tom DeBlass, or Roger Gracie, each of those gentlemen would beat you in less than 60 seconds. They would have you twisted up. Prove me wrong. Post your credentials. Seem to know a lot about fighting, not the first comment you put up. Let's see it. I'm sure you're a lion or a wolf. You probably got your Lions Not Sheep t-shirt. First round, Chris, 60 seconds. But he's probably got a Lions Not Sheep t-shirt. Probably fancies himself as a lion or a wolf or a predator of some kind, a megalodon shark, a T-Rex. Maybe bought his front row tickets for the AlphaCon. Like, really? Love it. Okay, that's it. That's Alive. I'm going to keep going down the rabbit hole. Be kind to someone tomorrow and be consistent. Love you all. Thank you for the support. Really, genuinely appreciate it. And again, keep it positive. Keep it consistent.